Good evening and welcome. Tim, are we live?
We are live. I knew you were
Okay.
going to ask that, Dorothy O'Dell.
Only because that's how we
I knew
always
it.
start one of these things off.
We
So,
have to
if
roll
you're
like
just joining in and you're wondering what the heck's going on, welcome to the first hour of Unstoppable Camaraderie 24-hour fundraiser for heroes, badges, and warriors. My name is Dorothy, and I'm your co-host for this first hour, and my connection to veterans is actually having them on my show. It first started with Mr. Greg Bicknell coming on January 31st, episode number 44 of Unstoppable Overcomers. And this guy completely changed my life. And so since then, I have had at least 40 interviews with different veterans, and they've all touched my heart. And when I found out that, 20, at that time, 20, we were losing 22 a day by suicide, I knew that something had to change. And now that number has doubled. So that's why we are doing this tonight, not only to bring awareness, but also, to bring funding in so that we can fund the programs at Camaraderie Rescue Mission. So, Tim, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you, Dorothy O'Dell. And my name is Tim Sohn, and I am your other co-host for the next hour. And my connection to veterans is I co-host another show called The Tim and Jim Show, and my co-host over there is Jim Fuse, and he's a veteran of the Marines. So that's my connection to the veterans. And this event runs until 6 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, October 8th, and brings awareness of the program's TCRMI. I'm going to have to practice this, Dorothy. TCRMI has, and the collaborations it has made with other organizations, and how it helps veterans gain hope while living with PTSD. There's going to be lots of acronyms going on, so I'm going to have to practice this a lot.
Sorry. TCRMI just rolls right off my tongue for some reason. I don't know, because I've been involved, but yes, and PTSD. So yes.
Yes.
All right. So if you would like to donate, you can do so by going to the link in the ticker, which is https://tinyurl/hope for vets. As well as if you don't want to do that online, because I know there's still some people out there that refuse to do that and you want to send a check, go ahead and make that check out to Camaraderie Rescue Mission Incorporated and mail it to Mr. Greg Bicknell, USAF CMS Sergeant retired at 1532 Cordgrass, Lakeland, Florida 33813, which it is in the comments and it is in the ticker. We appreciate all your donations, and every dollar counts and changes lives. All right.
And it does. And apparently I was muted, so I'm sorry about that.
Yes. Over these next 24 hours, there will be live stream shows going on with all supporters and veterans sharing their stories and the organizations that helped make a difference to our veterans' lives. Let us know where you're tuning in from around the world in the comments. We so appreciate you showing up today.
Dorothy, where are you joining us from?
Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Yes.
Where about you?
I am in Shahola, Pennsylvania.
With the bears and the turkeys. Oh my. And Tim was actually assaulted by a bear the other day. No, he saw a bear.
I was not assaulted, but it was a reason to go get a cup of coffee.
And so. There we go. Tim always loved Dunkin' Donuts. So you definitely, if you know Tim and you're in Shahola, go get the man a coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
We are getting sidetracked easily tonight.
I am. Anyways, I'm supposed to read the script. The script says TCRMI is a veteran organization that was founded by Mr. Greg Bicknell, who is a retired Air Force veteran after serving for 29 years. Mr. Bicknell had brain surgery that did not go well and was the result of a medically discharge. In his journey, he realized that he needed help after having suicidal ideations, and after getting up the courage to ask for help, he was told to make an appointment. This lit a fire under Mr. Bicknell's butt and was the driving force to start TCRMI so that no one else would have to endure being put on a waiting list once they decided to reach out for help. TCRMI exists to vitalize and enrich the mental, physical, and spiritual, emotional health of active military and veterans, first responders, and the communities they serve. Dorothy and her friend Tim, that's us, decided to come alongside TCRMI due to her love of helping her veteran family and knowing that 28 veterans a day die by suicide, that something needs to change. She and Mr. Bicknell had Mr. Bicknell on her Monday night show, Unstoppable Overcomers, on January 31st, 2022, episode number 44. If you want to check us out on my YouTube channel, which is Unstoppable Overcomers.
Definitely check it out. You don't want to miss those shows.
Nope.
So
All right.
Yes.
Oh, you first. You next.
So we have done other impactful, crazy 24-hour live stream fundraisers for cancer, and that was Dorothy Odell's suggestion. And Dorothy came to me about this one, and she said, I want to do a live stream fundraiser. She said, I don't know if I want to do 12 or 24 hours. And I said, who's going to remember it's 12-hour live stream fundraiser? We have to do 24 hours, right, Dorothy?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You should hear his next crazy idea. Anyway,
yeah. Next time we're doing a 72-hour fundraiser. I just put that out loud, Dorothy.
Yeah, I know you did.
Yeah. So we thought, why not to help our veterans? So here we are. Dorothy and her business partner, Kimberly, are on fire to help TCRMI grow and help save veteran lives. So that is why we are all here today, to show up, to change lives. Dorothy and Kimberly also serve on the board of TCRMI and are here to make a difference. There are hundreds of veterans and first responders struggling with hope and feeling lost. Each person's story is different. Each person is impacted in a different way, as we have discovered, as you guys have discovered on Unstoppable Overcomers. TCRMI is always hard at work with its many programs, including just coffee and camaraderie. I want to hear about this coffee thing and camaraderie.
That's awesome. Yes, we'll talk about the coffee later. But up next, we would love to introduce you to some of our live streamers that you're going to be seeing over the course of the next 24 hours, our board members, and I really would like to introduce you to the lady that introduced me to Greg Bicknell, which started this craziness with working with veterans. So, Tim, if you could bring our people up that are in the green room.
Yes, who would you like me to bring on, Dorothy?
Well, let's start with Melody, because
yes,
I want to start with Melody first, because, and I hope I don't make her cry, but that's okay. We're going to bring her on. Melody
sure.
was actually on my show. She's one of the very first founding ones that were on there. And Melody is one of those women that you meet and you never, ever, ever forget. Melody's heart for veterans is by far the biggest that I've ever seen. Not only is she an ally, she also serves with us over at Angels 14 every Friday. Most Fridays on their call. And she actually every Tuesday has an article that she writes about veterans. And after I had her on my show, she says, I need you to connect you with this amazing, crazy guy out of Lakeland, Florida. And so Melody introduced me to Mr. Greg Bicknell. So Melody, I had to have you on tonight because I just wanted to say thank you for changing not only my life, but Kimberly's lives, and all of our lives will be changed by the end of these next 24 hours. So thank you so much for being courageous enough to do what you do as well, and to also connect me with Greg.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. I'm going to try not to cry. But as allies, every single one of us can do something. We can introduce somebody to either an organization or a person that has to do with it. And when we do that, great things can happen. And you're proof of that. So all I had to do was take action on the honor of being able to show two amazing people each other. And that's all I did, was show you two people to each other. And you guys did the rest. And I'm so honored to have taken part in the introduction.
Oh, thank you so much, Melody. And we so appreciate you. And if folks, check Melody out on LinkedIn, especially, she's an amazing content writer, but every Tuesday she features a new veteran organization. So please check her out, give her some love, and everything, all the comments that she put on everything she puts out there. So we just appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Dorothy.
Oh, you're my pleasure. All right, let's bring up. Are we ready for Mr. Bicknell? I don't know.
Are we ready?
I don't know. I think we're ready. And he's back there. And I only say it this way because if you know Mr. Greg Bicknell, this guy is not only amazing, he has a heart of gold. He can talk a mile a minute faster than I can. And he knows I've got nothing but love for him. So if you could bring on, I don't know if you want to bring on, can we bring on the whole board at once? So that's Greg, Kimberly, Mark, Molly,
Yeah.
Glenn.
Wait, hold on. Tell me who again?
Mark? Sorry, Greg?
Greg.
Glenn.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, y'all. Come on, bring
Kimberly.
them on here. We got stuff to do. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Come on, Timmy.
And he's going to tell you what to do. It is your show. That's
Come
Mr.
on, Tim.
Bicknell.
I'm taking over. I've been in 5 seconds. I'm taking over.
Yes. Okay. Hi, Greg.
Oh, hey.
Who else?
Yeah, sorry, Kimberly,
Kimberly.
Molly,
Oh, there's Kimberly. Hey, Kimberly.
Molly.
Glenn.
Molly.
Glenn doesn't seem to be at the camera at the moment.
Okay, Mark.
Mark.
Mark's coming in. Oh, Mark.
Hey,
Lynn.
Mark.
We got another Mark. Mark, you're on the board now. Congratulations, buddy.
All right.
Yes.
And the other Mark?
Yeah.
Do we want the other Mark yet?
What's
Yeah,
the
the
other?
other-
Who's the
yeah.
other Mark?
Mark
Oh, no, not
Anderson?
Mark Lee. No, Mark
Oh, we don't.
Anderson. Sorry, Mark
Oh,
Anderson.
Mark, you're getting
and
booted out. Mark Lee's getting booted out. You
Oh.
have been voted off the island, Mark Lee. Off the
Sorry,
island.
Mark Lee.
Mark Anderson.
Glenn. I didn't realize there was 2 Marks. Okay,
Oh, hey,
so
there's
everybody, this is. Oh, and Glenn
Oh.
disappeared.
Glenn.
You know, I've never met the man officially.
Glenn was,
and he
Glenn was
disappeared.
almost voted off the island. He didn't even hardly get in. I saw his nostrils and then he was gone.
Oh my
Anyway,
gosh.
So if Glenn comes in, there he is. He's back.
Oh, he's back. Glenn's back. Hey, Glenn. You and your nostrils
Hey.
both have made it.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
First-
I have technology issues.
It's because you're old, Glenn. It's not technology.
Yes, that's correct.
So, anyways, guys, this is most of the board. We're missing 2. We're missing 2 other board members, but this is the board of Camaraderie Rescue Mission, short form from TCRMI. I just think TCRMI is easier to say, but if you guys want to say it all night long, Camaraderie Rescue Mission, go for it. Anyways, our board founder and president, our board founder, Mr. Greg Bicknell, our
How you doing?
co-chair, Kimberly Genovese, our I think Molly's title is executive director. Executive director. Glenn is our treasurer, and Mark
Vice president.
is vice president. There we go. Awesome.
See, I got y'all. I got you, Dorothy. I got you.
All right. So
early. It's even early.
he wants to talk. Let's put Mr. Bicknell front and center.
Oh man, I didn't really want to talk. I have
Yes,
nothing.
you do.
Oh, listen, hey. So I want to start this whole thing off and say one thing. Like I've been blown away all day. I was on Mark's show today, not Mark Anderson, the other Mark that y'all kicked off, and it was awesome. It was awesome. I mean, I'm telling you, Mark Lee, absolutely amazing show. He brought us in. We had a great time. He, druggled the mic and did all that kind of stuff. But this whole thing from the very beginning, you guys connected me into the 24-hour show with all the live streamers. And I can't say thanks enough because just the heart, the love, the time, the energy, the effort that it took to put this together. Dorothy and Tim, you guys have done some rock star stuff. Board, you guys know I love you. You all know I love you because sometimes with my 400 ideas every 2 seconds, maybe that's an understatement. I got to have some folks that keep us going straight, some folks that help us to move forward like we should. And you guys have been nothing but rock solid teammates. You've been folks that I absolutely have to depend on because when I'm not having the good days, you guys are there. When I'm having the great days, you make them even better. And so I just, Glenn, we were together during active duty times. And after I got out, I reached out. I'm going to tell this story, Glenn. I have to, because I think it's just the craziness that people have done because it was, I talked to Glenn and Glenn said he talked to another one of our fellow chiefs. The chief said, what is it that Greg's doing? And this was back in its inception before I really knew. And sometimes I don't, but you guys do. So that's what makes it great. Right. And Glenn, the guy reached out and said, what's Greg's doing? And Glenn said, I have no idea, but we're going to jump on board and we're going to see where this train rides. So Glenn has been with me from the very beginning. He rode, out of the military. He came in, Robert Murray's back in the house. I just talked to him in Alaska, but it's just been amazing. Then I met this guy you know, Mark Anderson. I went over. I was there for another reason. I showed up there. We started clicking right away, and then I thought, oh boy, the rest of the board is in trouble, because if this guy ever gets out there, he and I, with the way that we're going to rock it, is going to be out of control. And then Kimberly, she came down. She was so crazy that after I went on the show with Dorothy, she was there. She moved down here to Florida for 3 months, and just like started growing this thing. And then I realized that I was in real big trouble, because she was actually going to do her in her best power to keep me straight and make sure that I didn't go crazy, which, you know, that's everybody's job. And Kimberly, I'll tell you what, you really kind of started something off, because you took a chance on me, and I appreciate that. You all have, and we're going to go great places. Dorothy has brought it all together, just doing some amazing stuff. Kind of, you know, it was a show that kicked it off, and it was the one that brought us all. But I want to hit Molly, you know, so Molly, I'm going to tell something on you too. You know, Molly was a person that I've known. She actually got a chance to go on one of our sailing trips. I met her on that before. I think it was before they launched. It was before they launched, right? We met, and we just kind of had a conversation, you know, and then we had some, and kept following that. And I kept going, you know what, this is a person that I just see great things for, big things for. And we brought her in. First, she was the vice president, and very quickly she moved to executive director, because you just see that spark. You just see the love that's in her eye, along with the rest of the board, which is why they're there. But I really appreciate the fact that you accepted the role of executive director, because I know that you can take us where we need to be. The rest of us are here to support you. You know, sometimes I have the big mouth, and I take over the airways, and sometimes take over shows, and heck, whatever else I'm involved in, I might take that over too, right? But tonight isn't about all the things like the struggles I went through. Tonight's not about, it's about the successes that we're having. These organizations that are going to come on tonight, something started them to make them decide they wanted to do it, just like it did with me. But these organizations have had successes, and we have had successes, and we're going to continue to have them. And the reason we're going to have them is because of the folks that you see down the side of the screen that have been a part of this. Tim, you're part of the show now. I told you you've already been voted in. Mark Lee, sorry you were voted off the island, but we'll get you back in here in a minute. We'll call it good. So it wasn't my fault. They voted you out. I vote you in. You were awesome today. And I just want to hear about all of these amazing things. That's why these folks have come in, because I want them to tell their story. It's not just about what Camaraderie Rescue Mission does. It's about bringing a whole group of folks together. We're here to connect, support, and sustain. But if we don't connect, then the other two really don't matter, because they're not going to happen. So tonight, as you go through, take notes, write it down. If you see an organization that needs to be on the next one we do, that's 72 hours, or maybe the whole month of September, or whatever, you know, we decide to do, it may just get crazy. Write it down and reach out to those folks and let them know that you care. Let them know that you saw them out here, and then refer people to them. It's not just about Camaraderie Rescue Mission. It's about all of us. And it takes a team. I've got a great one. I'm starting to get emotional here, and it's early. They say if you drink water, you won't cry. They told me that one time, but I'm drinking coffee, so it just gets me more hyper. So good luck, y'all. And with that, I'll cede the mic.
Awesome. Is there anybody on the board that wants to say anything at this moment? We not only have the board, but we have our amazing hosts in the back room too, that in the green room, that need to come up. So if there's anybody in the board that would like to say anything.
Hey guys, yeah, I'd like to just reach out and say big props to Greg for putting this together. I'm excited to be here. You know, it takes a community, and it takes people like Greg and Greg and myself. We quickly realized that we both like to geek out on things, and we're connectors. So I couldn't be more excited to be here. And I'm going to learn a lot about some of these communities and people that are helping out. And I'm excited to be here and be a part of this. So yeah, let's go.
Awesome. What about it, executive director? Let's hear you. Let's put you on the spot. I need to hear something. Come on, bring it, girl. Let's hear you. Come on, say something. You got to come off mute first, though. That's the first lesson of the night.
Thank you. No, I'm pretty stoked to be here. Met you just a few months ago, and really have had the pleasure of just meeting everyone recently. And it's been very, very impactful in my life. It's changed drastically since, March, April until now. And so here we are with a 24-hour fundraiser. And we're so excited that if we can raise the funds that we want to raise, we will be able to support so many veterans to participate in these amazing opportunities that really speak to their hearts. And that's our goal, is to provide community for those veterans who might not have community. And that's the goal, along with, by providing community to drive down the rates of veteran suicide. So I'm just stoked to be here, and I hope all of you watching and listening will be very, very supportive and generous financially. So appreciate it.
Boom, way to bring the heat, Molly. That was awesome.
And they can donate at https://tinyurl.com/hope for vets. So please go there right now. Make your donation if you can. By the way, guys, super exciting for those of you who donate in increments of $100. Your name will be going into a draw for a 6-month Freedom Boat Club membership. Guys, that's a $7,500 value. And each time you donate $100, so you donate $1,000, that's 10 tickets that you're getting in. And we will pull the raffle on that when 2,222 are sold. Why that number? Stay tuned. Follow us. Why? Because that's what we've decided as a board. And but there's a story behind that. At the end, we'll tell that story. But you have to wait till tomorrow night at 6. Anyways, with that, so yes, I'm super stoked about that. So our next board member, who would like to come up?
Hey, Dorothy, I want to say something real quick. I know that's shocking. Either the fact I want to say something or say something real quick, both of them are shocking. But TCRMI.org, they can go there too. And it's the same link. That's the tiny URL thing. So if they go to TCRMI.org, sometimes that's maybe a little quicker, easier to say. But all those links lead to one place, and that's our donor box campaign. It actually does this Unstoppable Overcomers. And so there's multiple options out there, TCRMI.org or the tiny URL link. Again, they're all connected to the same in platform, which is donor box, which actually is going to track all of our deal tonight. And you can see how much we've raised. So just want to throw that out there.
Perfect. All right, next board member, if we have one that wants to say anything. If
Does
not,
Kimberly
we're
or
gonna
Glenn want to come on?
Glenn, what do you got to say? You're a Texan. You've always got stuff to say. Talk bad about the other 49 states or something like that. Come on, let's hear it.
Well, there's only one real state, and
So yeah, I knew it.
and
There we go.
and there would be and one day we'll be our own country yet again. We were for 9 years. So let me tell you something about Greg. You will never meet someone who has more passion. And when he puts his mind to something, that's just the way it is. We worked together in the military, and whenever he would call me, if he had his mind set on something, he was easy to win me over. And the reason why is because he always made a compelling argument. And his passion was just so awesome. And what he's doing now and what he gave up to what he's doing now is a testament to his character. And I just love him like a brother. And I think I just can't wait to see where this goes, because this is going to be huge.
Thanks, Glenn. Checks in the mail. Appreciate that.
Hey guys, I'm just looking at our screen and we're at $200 raised so far. So hello,
Yay.
Thank you for all of you that have donated. I can't see who has, so I wish I could say, hey, thank you to whomever. But we do appreciate you. So next, because we have streamers and people are trying to get in and we can't because we have too many people in here. So Kimberly, would you like to say something?
Sure. And that was a perfect segue. We'll make sure we get that straight so we can really put the names of people across. Yeah. That couldn't be more perfect. What's right there just to add, from the board is just how grateful and appreciative we are of each and every one of you that you hear the call and you respond to the call in the next 24 hours. Because what I can promise you is that this board is absolutely committed to the veterans, and not just veterans. Like if it was just veterans, that would be amazing in and of itself. But we're literally committed that every life is fully vibrant and alive and engaged And we love everyone, and especially those heroes and badges and warriors out there that are on the front lines every day for each and every one of us to have the freedoms that we have. And this board is tireless. Its heart and soul is tireless for that community. And so those of you that are making the financial donations, you have no idea the difference it will make. And we love you for that. And it gives us the breath that we need to keep it going and expanding it. So thank you in advance. We love you. And this is going to be fun. You remember how much fun we had?
It's going to be. I want to hit something. I want to go back and hit something Kimberly said, which I'm glad you kind of set that up. Is, the Camaraderie Rescue Missions where this thing kind of kicked off. That was the original name, and that's where it's still at, right? But there's a program that we have going now that's Heroes, Badges, and Words. Heard Kimberly talk about, and the reason that is, there's so many people that are doing amazing things. Whether you're connected as a civilian, you've never been around military. Hopefully, you've not had to be around first responders too awfully much, and your life has been charmed where you haven't. But there's a part to where there's these heroes that are walking amongst us every day that have no connection to people that work in any of those fields, but they're doing stuff that absolutely blows me away. And when we sit down and said, you know what, how can we recognize them? There's people out there that's doing so much, and we want them on our team. We want them to be a part of our team. We want to get them involved, but more than likely, more than anything, we just want to say thanks. And that's where the heroes, badges, and words, because heroes that are out there, you know what? If there's somebody out there that's doing a great job, let us know about that. And maybe we can set up something and go out and recognize them. If not in person, maybe we can set it up on air, do a Zoom. But the heroes, badges, and words is really more than just a name. There's meaning in that. There's meaning in that. And we want folks to understand that. So we want everybody. We want everybody to buy in and us to move forward collectively as a country, collectively as a nation, connective as a world. And that's where we're at. And that's why we've got Canada here. We got folks going to be from Alaska, of course, the Oconus, we call it in the military. But then, we've got folks, I think there may be a person here from the UK that's going to be streaming. I know we've got some folks that are coming in. Janet Wazawate, she's going to be on tonight. And it's just so amazing that this technology allows us to do this. Africa as well. Look at that. So, I mean, it's so cool that technology is really enabling us to do this. And for 24 hours, I'm humbled, but there's way more to it than just the name Heroes, Badges, and Words. Each one of those holds a special place. And we sit down and decided, you know what? If you're doing kick butt work, we want to recognize that kick butt work, regardless of where you put your shoes on and regardless where you call home or where you call work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to our amazing board. If we can clear the board out and now bring up our streamers, stay in the green room, guys, if you can, and if we have to bring you back up. But we're going to bring up our amazing hosts for the next 24 hours that could join us. Tim, if you could definitely, bring as many as you can on, but we'll start with Denise and Inger. Hello, Miss Inger. Okay, so I am super stoked because you know what? When we decided to do this is our Canadian Thanksgiving weekend, and not a lot of Americans know that. Okay. Yeah. And I thought, what better way for us Canadians to give back to our Americans, and especially the ones that fought for our freedoms, the ones that are the responders that are out there fighting tireless on the streets, or that have been retired. And I'm so stoked because Inger is a fellow Canadian. High five, sister. Woo! I love you. So we're going to start with Inger because I know she's got to get going, and then we'll go to Denise because she's the next hour. So that way these ladies can prep. So ladies, I just want to thank you so much for giving your time and your energy and your effort to this initiative and for helping our veterans, and especially on the Canadian Thanksgiving. Inger, we so appreciate you.
It's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
Great. Awesome. And do you have a connection with veterans at all, Inger?
Yes. One of my grandfathers actually served in World War II. So yeah, I do. but that's back home in South Africa.
Well, that's okay. It doesn't matter because a veteran's a veteran no matter where they serve. So that's awesome. And thank you so much for that. And tomorrow, Inger, you're at 11 o'clock?
Yes.
11 a.m.
EST, yes.
Yeah, awesome. So join in at 11 EST on Inger's site, which is in the guide. If you go to the tiny URL, hope the number 4 veteran schedule, you will see Inger's time slot and where you can see. Oh, it's in the ticker. I love that.
Yes.
It's in the ticker. Woohoo! So Inger, we just appreciate you and adore you, and thank you so much for all your time in this project.
Thank you, Inger.
My pleasure. I'm happy to help out. I'm happy to help out. So I'm glad that I could make the time.
Yes, she actually is the networking ninja. That's right. And if you don't know Inger, you need to go over to her LinkedIn page right now and connect with her because she knows so many people. And she has her show Friday mornings, I believe, at 9 a.m. Is it 9 a.m.?
9:30.
Right. Okay. And so definitely get over to her show, check her out, show some love to Inger, be part of her network. And I'm telling you, you will not regret it.
Thank you. Yes, anybody
Definitely.
come on over. I'm always happy to welcome new connections.
Awesome. All right.
Well,
Next,
thank you,
thank you so much.
Inger.
Next, we'll bring up Denise. Now, I don't know Denise. This is the first time meeting her. Do you know Denise? So I'll let you introduce
I know Denise through LinkedIn, but I'll
No.
let Denise talk. Denise, do you have a connection to veterans at all?
I do. So my father is a veteran. My brother is currently still serving, and he in the Marines, and he was stationed in Iraq, Afghanistan twice, and he's been out in the APAC Ocean, like over in Asia Ocean, over in that neck of woods. Yes. And then my husband actually served in the German army, and my grandfather was in World War II in the German army.
Wow, you have a lot of connections to veterans.
Well, that's why she jumped on this bandwagon.
Yeah.
Well, stick with us, sister. We'll bring you along for the ride because this is just the beginning.
Awesome. Well, I love it. I'm glad to be. I feel honored that I get to participate in this. So thank you guys.
Oh, thank you. So yes, Denise is the next hour. And
yes, and I have Hooves for Happiness as my guests.
Woo-hoo.
So specifically, I have Sheena Kuiper. I might have butchered her last name, and Lindsay King. But they'll both be on at the next hour, top of the hour. Yes. So I'm excited, and I'm on again at 4 a.m. Crazy me thought it was going to be 5 a.m. Central, and it's 5 a.m. Eastern. So I'm up.
And she'll be interviewing the lovely and amazing Kimberly Genovese, co-chair of Camaraderie Rescue Mission.
Yes, exactly. So that'll be fun.
And again, those links are in the schedule. So please check that out because each hour is going to be at a different location. Some of them, there's a time slot between midnight and 4 o'clock where it's on my station. But that's okay. Most of them, though, are at different times. So please check it out. We don't want you to miss an hour. If you could stay the whole 24 like us, that's great. If not, just come out whenever you can. We appreciate you. And thank you so much, Denise, for giving your time, effort, and energy. And thank you so much to your family for serving. Tell them thank you. We appreciate them.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you, Denise.
All right. Who we got next?
Oh my gosh. Next.
Bring up all of them.
Yeah.
Bring up all the rest of the streamers. Let's make some noise.
Stephen Kaplan.
Mr. Stephen.
Mark Lee is in the house.
Yeah, Mark Lee. He is.
We bow down to all the live streamers. All of the live streamers.
All of them.
Well, I was glad to be able to bring.
Hello.
Hey, folks. Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome, and thank you all for helping out with this event. We appreciate it so much.
Yes, you guys are all just so amazing. Okay, so I know Okay, let's start with Philip, because I don't know Philip, but you've been blowing up my LinkedIn Messenger, and you are just like an amazing guy here. Like, I just love your enthusiasm, your excitement for helping us here. So thank you, sir. This is my first time meeting you, and so thank you. So this is what happens, guys. You decided to do something crazy, like a 24-hour telethon. Okay, so I have to tell you, let me read this message from my amazing business partner. She's encouraging, we have so many teams going, and she's encouraging our one team, watch and share as much as possible. In honor of Jerry Lee Lewis, master of telethons, we are off and running. So isn't that amazing? So anyway, Philip, thank you so much, sir. And what is your connection with veterans?
I have a pretty big connection, actually. My father served in the Air Force. My uncle served in the Air Force. My grandfather served in the Army World War II. My uncle served in the Air Force, Vietnam War. I have a number of cousins that did serve. I have a cousin that's currently serving. A cousin that just got out maybe about 6 or 7 years ago. So, I have a very big connection to veterans, and veterans have always had a special place in my heart because they took care of my family and brought them back home. So when I saw Tim post this on LinkedIn, I jumped on it immediately because I saw the perfect way to kind of honor them and the sacrifices that them and a number of other men and women made by serving this country. So again, thank you, Tim. Thank you, Dee, and I appreciate everything. Greg as well for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Hey, Dorothy, if I can just interject really quickly and everything along those lines, because one of the things, it was great having Philip along with Mr. Bicknell on the new show, kind of a pre-launch to this wonderful, amazing 24-hour event. But as Philip can tell you, he is not just glad to be helping the veterans, and the veterans are very important for us to help, and I definitely have some connections that I can share later on to the veteran community. But we're also honoring the first responders and those in the medical field and some of the other folks in that line. And Philip is directly related to that because he is a transplant survivor, a multiple transplant survivor at that. So he's definitely involved in that space. So nurses and doctors have been very important in his life, and I've had the pleasure of having him on, I think 2 or 3 times on some of my different shows. So we've actually got a little bit of a bond going and all in that space. So Philip, I think that they would love to hear a little bit about the importance of the first responders to your life as well, because those first responders are very important and they've definitely played a role in your life.
Definitely. The paramedics, the doctors, the nurses all play a vital role in my life. I've had to call the paramedics a number of times. It got to the point where they just started knowing who I was before they walked through the door. They was like, "Oh, Mr. Jones," and we actually just kind of formed a connection and a bond where they took very good care of me. On the way to putting me in the ambulance, getting me to the hospital, as well as, like I said, the doctors and the nurses. The nurses to me are very important because what I realized at a young age while going through a number of illnesses is that technically the nurses have your life in their hands, because if something happens to you, it's the nurse that's going to get to you before a doctor will. It is up to the nurse to call the doctor. So it's not like, the doctor plays a very vital role, in individuals and patients' health. But at the end of the day, it's the nurses kind of come first. And so I kind of make it an objective to put a smile on nurses' face, make them laugh, make them giggle, make them have a great time when they're in my room, to kind of let them relieve some of that stress, because they all deal with that one patient that kind of give them a hard time. And most of the time it's not intentional. Most of the time it's probably an elderly person that's just up in age and just kind of at the end of the road, and things of that nature. And so you know, again, I just try to make them kind of feel like it's a safe place when they come in my room. You know, also with the doctors, I can have a conversation with a doctor for 30, 45 minutes when they only came in there to tell me 2 things and intended to walk out. But now I got them behind schedule because they sitting there talking to me about sports or something. So the healthcare professionals play a huge role in my life. Real quick, I got diagnosed with chronic kidney disease at age 4. Had a transplant at 17, rejected at 20. 3 months after that rejection, I had emergency brain surgery from a heparin-induced subdural hematoma. I will currently be having open heart surgery. So the healthcare professionals are the front of the line for me. They're I think right behind my family and people that I care about. So you know, it's God, family, healthcare professionals, because they're the ones who were able to work together to keep me here all this time. I mean, I've had a number of 911 calls, seizures, you know, you name it, I probably have had it. Surgeries, I've had about 10 to 12 surgeries just in the past 10, 12 years, you know.
Wow.
So they're very important to me, to say the least.
Wow. We're going to have you on the Unstoppable Overcomer show on our Monday night show, because it sounds like you have one heck of a story that the world needs to hear. So we'll collaborate after the event, and I'm not talking to anybody till after Tuesday, after tomorrow at 6, but we'll touch base Tuesday. I haven't really slept in 4 days, and now I'm going on a 24-hour bender. So guys, I just want to say, we just had a $100 donation. So thank you so much.
Thank you, whoever
greatly
donated.
Appreciated. And to donate, just a reminder, go to www.tcrmi.org /tinyurl.com/hope for vets, or the www.tcrmi.org/donate. And if you want to write a check, it is in the comments. I'm not going to read that out loud.
And down there too.
And
Yeah,
down
it's in the
ticker.
comments. You'll find
it's
it in
the comments, and it's in the ticker. We greatly appreciate you. And the reason why we are doing this, if you're just tuning in, is because we are losing 44 veterans a day by suicide. And that is not okay with any of us here that are being part of this. It all started with having Mr. Greg Bicknell on my Monday night show called Unstoppable Overcomers. And since then, I speak veteranese. It is a thing, guys. It is a thing. And so I have had the distinct honor and privilege of interviewing 30 to 40 veterans. I sit on the board of Camaraderie Rescue Mission, and I am also part of other different veteran organizations. And the whole purpose of this was to bring the camaraderie and so that other veterans know what organizations are out there to help, because it's not just about us, but the money's raised for the next 24 hours will be going to Camaraderie Rescue Mission to fund our programs, because we never charge a veteran for our programs. We have ghost ship experiences, which you'll be hearing from Captain Perry tomorrow. And he's one of the people that are coming on. And right now we're talking to our amazing hosts and hostesses for the next 24 hours. That are giving up their time on a weekend. And for those of us in Canada, it's our Thanksgiving weekend. So we're out here.
Shout out to Canada.
Yeah, shout out to Canada.
Big shout out to Canada and all of that. The other thing I was going to add is there is a phrase that a friend of mine uses. He's actually a veteran advocate, even though he has the name. And I mentioned this to Mr. Bicknell when he came on the new show of Captain Newborn. And I'm hoping that he'll join me on this evening at 10 o'clock when I do my first hour and all that, because I've got 2 hours, and I'm looking forward to both of those hours that I'll be doing 8 a.m. the 10 o'clock one and all of that. But one of the things that Captain Newborn talks about, because he talks about a lot of stats around veterans, whether it's things around suicide, whether it's things around some of the housing issues that they have faced, whether it's things around some of the chemicals that they have been exposed to that have impacted their lives, and a number of other things, because veterans are very important here in North Carolina. You know that there are several military bases here in the North Carolina area, including Fort Bragg and definitely Camp Lejeune and a number of others that represent this area of the country and all in that space. But one of his favorite phrases that he uses whenever he gives his spiel toward the middle of a show that we do called The Road to the Apollo, where we take people up to the world famous Apollo to perform and to actually get exposed in music. But it's really a lot of about bringing awareness to veterans issues, because one of the things that one of the organizations that puts it together is a group called Next Level Veterans that Captain Newborn founded. And like I said, he never served a day in his life in the military, but it's both he and his father, I think grandfather too, were named captain. He thinks that there may be a captain way down the line somewhere or another, but his favorite catchphrase is "not on my watch." And I agree with him that there are so many things that are happening horribly in this era with what is going on with the veterans. We definitely need to be here to support our veterans. And if we recognize that things are going wrong in their life, we need to stop that. And that is why he uses that phrase, "We're not going to have it, not on my watch." And I know that anybody that has been part of the law enforcement or the military background knows what that means. It means that we're not going to have it, and not at this time, not ever in any time. And if you can go ahead and make those donations, I know that, like I said, my friend Chris Greco made a donation, and he is a veteran as well, right after Mr. Bicknell appeared on our news show this morning at around 9 o'clock. That was like from, I'm sorry, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. So it was 10 o'clock this morning. 10 to 11 o'clock he appeared, and after he appeared, Chris Greco made a donation. I don't know how much that donation was for, but I know it was part of that $200, and hopefully other people will be making it as well. So if you're able to, please make those donations. Those donations are absolutely needed. Our veterans need your help. They need your support. And there is no doubt that we need those donations made right now and all along those lines. And last but not least, and I want to run this by your board, but I just had a brilliant idea, Dorothy, and it's a brilliant idea that I hope that y'all will like and enjoy, because one of the things that they did, they made a big mistake with this one. Stefan will enjoy it because he's still supposed to be doing something for me, is they gave me carte blanche to bring any kind of show that I want to on to the network. So if somebody wants to make, I need it to be a significant amount. So if somebody wants to make a $500 donation and all along those lines, I will help them create a show around veterans' rights and veterans' issues. So I will help create a veterans donation show or a veterans show. If for the first person, it's got to be the first person that makes a $500 donation. So I hope that's all right for me to say that, and I hope that the board approves and all in that line. But if somebody wants to make a $500 donation, I will help them create a show that will air on Pod TV around veterans' rights, because Nick and Kim made the mistake of giving me carte blanche. So I can pretty much do what I want to and all along those lines. So $500 donation, first person that makes that and says they want to have a veterans related show and all along those lines, we'll find a time slot. We'll make it happen. So $500 donation, first person that makes that donation. And I hope that the board is fine with that for this wonderful organization.
Wow. Mic drop, guys. Mic drop. First $500 that would like to have their own veteran show. That is awesome.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Mark. And last but not least, the amazing Stefan Kaplan. Thank you for coming on here and giving your time. Stefan's time slot will be tomorrow at 9 a.m. And sir, do you have a connection to veterans?
I have a natural connection. My grandfather was a veteran. My father was a veteran, both in World War II, and everything. So the thing is that, I know veterans. I've known veterans in the past as well, not just family and stuff. I've seen a couple who have suffered from different things, and it boggles my mind when we deal with anything homeless related in this world, let alone this country. And I'm born and bred in Manhattan, but I live in New Jersey now. I'm always in the city though, and I see so many homeless people, and it always strikes me as to, I wonder how many of these homeless people are veterans, for example. It's a disgrace to me that we can spend so much money on so many things, and yet we can get people the type of help that they need. And, we have to realize a lot of this deals with mental health, a lot of mental health issues. And we have a mental health crisis in this world, in this country, and in a lot of different places. And mental health is something that we have to really address, especially now after the pandemic. The pandemic has probably exacerbated exacerbated by, who knows how many.
Got the screaming goat for you.
That's the screaming goat to save me from my word fumble there. But the bottom line is that, we have to help veterans. We have to help veterans. And, I just watched an incredible documentary film that was made with HBO dealing with I think it was either called The Fall of Kabul or I think it was The Fall of Kabul. And it was made with a bunch of veterans, currently, not veterans, but military personnel still serving, couple of retired, I think. But, just dealing with what they had to deal with, and then coming home to the transition of coming home, which we know is always probably one of the biggest transitions for military vets, is coming home, especially those that have done numerous tours in certain places. I watch a lot of documentaries about different things, but that documentary really, really was hard to digest. What they had to deal with that week and that month when that went down. So I'm here because Tim asked me to be. I know you, Dorothy, within reason. We don't know each other as well as I know Tim. Tim and I, we practically talk every single morning, literally, probably a few times a morning. But
let's not share too much information on this live stream.
That's what brothers do. That's what brothers do. Brothers talk all the time, and I need to talk. I need to talk more to you, Stephen, because definitely you are a brother of mine as well. But as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I live just down the road in an apartment from Duke University, and you are so right that there are so many homeless, because there is actually a group of homeless folks that I see regularly, and I do know for a fact, because I've had conversations with them, that at least several of them are veterans, and the fact that they are living in a homeless kind of environment just down the road from a major university and just down the road from the Research Triangle Park, I agree with you that is shameful, whether that is happening in New York City and the lovely metropolitan areas like New York and Miami and Los Angeles, or whether it's happening in a smaller town like Durham, or even in the rural towns, because I do know some veterans that are living in rural North Carolina and rural parts of the United States and around the world. So we definitely have to do a better job in the way we treat them. And it's just a shame that so many are homeless and are not being taken care of after they did so much for this amazing country and this amazing world of ours.
Well, like I was saying, Tim invited me to do this, and I said, sure, of course. I wanted to do more than an hour, but it's a busy weekend for me with family and stuff. But the thing is that an hour is, I always try to donate some of my time to something. And the main thing that we can do as people who do this type of work is give some of our time to certain causes. Yes, we have businesses to run and all that. But, I always tell people I don't have a lot of money to donate to different things, but I can donate my time, because time is money. And it's also the pure care of wanting to do things like that. And I try to do more and more of that in general. And Tim and I are always on the same level that way. So
we're always on the same level.
It's a pleasure to do that. And tomorrow morning, I'll be talking with a nice person named Angel, let me get this right, Zalonek, I believe. The S is silent, so I will say Zalonek. She's the Chief Executive Officer at Sports Faith. And I talked to her briefly today also, just to get warmed up in terms of our interview tomorrow. And they do a lot of great stuff. So I'm hoping that people will tune in. And by the way, this is a great idea to do this on everybody's channels, because I was explaining to somebody today, when you do an event like this, it's very wise to do it on everybody's different channels, because you're expanding the buzz and the knowledge of this event and this fundraiser to everybody on all these different networks. Whereas if you're doing it on one person's stream, it would not be the same, even though you could have everybody join, that way. You get that much more amplification. So very, very wise that you're doing it this way.
Yes. Well, thank you, Stefan. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, all the live streamers who are participating in this event. We could not do it without you. That is for sure. So thank you all. We so appreciate all of you. Right, Dorothy O'Dell?
Absolutely, 100%. Thank you, guys. Without you, we could not do this. And absolutely, Stefan, I agree with you. And to go check out Stefan's photography. That man is amazing. He's on Facebook, Instagram. Go freaking amazing. Exactly. If we could bring up the board, and especially Mr. Greg Bicknell, so that we could bring this last 4 minutes out so that people can get going over to Denise's channel. So Greg, if you want to finish off the last words.
Yeah, so the first hour has been amazing. I love the fact that folks are sharing. That's what this is all about. It's kind of get that story out there. Philip, I heard him today on Mark's show, and he was very inspirational. And the guy just has a heart like you wouldn't believe. And so here's the thing. As we're going through this, I noticed, we're talking about homeless vets, that's a population that just, they just need more and more love. And Backpacks for Life, Alexa Madero, who is out of New York, they have a group called backpacksforlife.org. It's an amazing one. They actually build these cool backpacks that they fully functional. They can hand to someone on the street, and then they have a way to have a tent, place to lay down, all that kind of cool stuff. Their Bowery pack is really cool, but it's backpacksforlife.org. And I'm going to keep sharing stuff like that because there's people that didn't make it on the show that do want to be on the show. And we do the next one that's a 96-hour one or, 2-month one or whatever we decide to do,
96 hours. Did you hear that,
we'll bring all them in. So there were people that we could only fit so many people, and I apologize the ones we couldn't get on. But, people said yes, and that I'm humbled. So thank you. Thanks to all the live streamers. Thanks to you two for putting it on the board. Man, we're going to rock this thing. And you guys are just, you're leading the way and pushing me harder and harder every day. And I love you. I love you. I love the folks that have been on here, and it's going to be great.
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I'm reading messages. I thought you were going to take the full 3 minutes because you usually do.
Oh, well, hang on. I got
no.
more.
Hold on. No.
I'm
Does the rest of the nope?
You see Dorothy tag me back in. It happened. She tagged me back in. I'm back in. Okay, sorry.
Does the rest of the board have anything else to say before we have 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes? Kimberly,
see,
Molly?
This is what happens when I don't talk. Right here.
I
it
know
goes dead
because
silent.
they're afraid to talk.
They're afraid to talk. I'm afraid to talk sometimes.
I get it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. No, on behalf of the board, I'm not going to say we're afraid to talk. and I will speak on behalf of the rest of the board that we're excited of honoring the next segment and the people that are taking over, and we love you all. And here we go.
Absolutely. I will add to that. For all of you donators out there, or those who are thinking about donating, who are, on the fence, when you support Camaraderie Rescue, you're not only supporting our organization, you are supporting veterans organizations across the nation, across the world. Like Greg mentioned before, we are in the business of, creating that community for veterans wherever they're at. And so he mentioned several other organizations that we support. So again, when you sponsor us, you're actually sponsoring those other veterans organizations as well. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, some of the ones we team up with, and we just really like with Ghost Ship that's going to come on later. Those guys invited me out before I even started doing this. And now we just try to do what we can to support them. They're their own entity, but we jump in there and try to do what we can. So if I could do it, I would write a big fat check to them and just let them do sailing trips every other week. It would just be cool, but we're not there yet. Hopefully one of these days we'll get there. And that's why we take the donations, because that trip, 3 people that's on this thing right now, Kimberly, Molly, and myself, we've been on that trip, and it's something you can't explain. So we would love to support that and see more of those go out. So
thank
you
so
amazing.
Much.
Well, we want to thank everyone. We want to thank everyone who has tuned in. We want to shout out Robert Murray, who's one of our incredible live stream hosts. He's been tuning in. He says hello. We want to thank Denise Amirtha Bachman, who is here. She is hosting the next hour, which starts in 1 minute. So guys, you can find the link to do that. Just go to this link right here, tinyurl.com/host for Vets schedule. And you can find the link there to go to the next show, which starts right now. So Dorothy, we should wrap this up.
Yes, thank you very much. And we'll see you over on Denise's channel. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.